Would you like to learn to convert this boring Excel sheet that has huge amount of data spanned across multiple sheets in this beautiful and interactive Power BI dashboard in less than an hour? If your answer is yes, then this video is for you. We will learn to create this dashboard from scratch and we will learn about the important Power BI components. So let's get started. In order to follow and replicate this dashboard, you will have to download Power BI Desktop. It's a fairly straightforward process. I will leave a link to the download page in the description section. So this is how the Power BI interface looks like when you initially open it. Now the first thing you need to do in order to create your dashboard is to connect to your data source. Power BI provides you an option to connect to a variety of data sources. You can click on Get Data and you can connect to SQL Server, Power BI datasets, Excel. If your preferred dataset is not present here, you can click on More and you will probably see every single database you can think of. You can connect to Oracle, Netezza, Postgre, Redshift, Vertica. There are a huge number of relational and non-relational database that Power BI can connect to. For this particular video, we have Excel as our source, so let's connect to that. And in order to connect to Excel, we have multiple options. Either we can connect to Excel from here, or we can select Import Excel Data option from here. All three options are the same. Then you need to go to the directory where your Excel file is stored. For this sales dashboard, we need this Excel file. So when we select it and click OK, this pop-up will open and it will show all the sheets we have in the Excel file. Once we click on a particular sheet, we can see the preview on the right hand side. For example, this calendar table contains all the dates starting from 2017 till 2020. Then we have the year column, month name corresponding to the date, and so on. We have a city table that contains the 10 city where the business is done. Then we have the employee table that contains the list of the employees facilitating the sales. The product table listing the products that are being sold. And finally, our fact table sales, which contains the data of all the transactions. Now we have two options. Either we can directly load the data into Power BI or we can transform it before loading. We should always transform our data before loading to clean up any anomalies. When we click on transform, it takes us to Power Query where we can actually make changes to our data. The first thing you should check is whether the names of your columns needs to be changed and if the data types assigned by Power BI are correct. For example, ID has integer, sales date has date, product ID has integer, city ID has integer. A lot of times, instead of assigning date, you see the data type as text or timestamp. So you want to change that. There is so much that can be done in Power Query, but in interest of time and to keep it simple, we are not going to make any changes and we will simply click close and apply. Once we do that, the data is loaded into the Power BI model. So you see these 5 sheets are getting loaded now and we will see them on the right hand side. If we want to search a particular column or field, we can simply write that on the search bar and it will show all the matches. For example, when I search city, I got 3 matching values, 1 from sales and 2 from the city table. So while creating Power BI reports, 3 things are really important and they are here on the left. First is the report section, second is the data section, and third is the relationship or the model section. So in our model section, we need to ensure that Power BI has created correct relationships between the tables. By default, Power BI has detected some relationship between tables. For example, it has detected a one-to-many relationship between product and sales on the basis of product ID. Similarly, it has created a one-to-many relationship between city and sales. That means one city can occur multiple times in the sales table. And the same goes for employee as well. One employee can help in multiple sales, which is why it will have multiple records in the sales table. Now we need to explicitly create the relationship between calendar and sales table. And usually we prefer a one-to-many relationship because when we have a many-to-many relationship, the value of our measures are inflated and we need a bridge table to tackle it. So we should prefer a one-to-one or one-to-many relationship between our tables. Let's create our relationship between the two tables using calendar date and sales date columns. I see a warning that says there exists a many-to-many relationship between the two tables, which is weird. Ideally, I should not see any null values in the calendar table. Since I am seeing them, this means my calendar source sheet has some issues. And we can remove these anomalies by transforming the data in Power Query. So I will click Transform Data and it will take me to the Power Query. On clicking, I see the same screen that we saw initially. Now I know that there were blanks in my calendar table. So I'm going to click on my calendar date and I will simply remove empty values. As soon as I did that, an additional step came, filtered rows. This is similar to adding a where condition in SQL to remove null values. Now our dataset does not have any blank rows. To implement this change, I will click on Close and Apply. The empty rows that I have removed in my Power BI does not mean that these rows have been removed from my source as well. They have only been removed for this particular report. The changes are being implemented now. Let me try and create the relationship again. Hopefully I should not see that issue now. And now you see we have our one-to-many relationship. Let's quickly recap what we have learned. The first step is to import the data and we can do it using the get data option. In the second step, we transform the data, we remove any anomalies or change the names or data types if required. In the third step, we create the relationship between our tables and we validate the relationships created by Power BI. And finally, we move towards creating our dashboard in the report section. But before we start creating our report, let's visit the data section using which we can see the actual data that is present in our tables. For example, here my calendar table has 1461 rows and all of them have distinct values. We know that we have only 12 distinct months. So this column will have 1461 rows but only 12 distinct values. So using our data section, we can see the actual data and we use it for doing validations as well. Let's finally move towards creating the beautiful and interactive visuals we all have been waiting for the last 10 minutes. In order to create the visuals, we need to learn two more concepts of creating calculated columns and measures. In this video, we will create two simple measures and we will use two DAX functions to create them. If you had noticed, we have quantity and selling price in our sales table, but we do not have a net sales column. We can create the same in our data section by clicking on new column. We will write new sales is equals to quantity sold. Power BI is showing this column to me on its own and we will multiply it by selling price. So we got our new column net sales, and just because we have created this column in Power BI, it will not be created in our Excel source. Any changes that we make in Power Query or using DAX are not made to the source system. They are only local to Power BI report. Now I'm going to create my first measure, total sales, which is sum of net sales. That's it. We just created our first measure and we wrote our first tax right here. By mistake, I have created this measure under calendar table. I will move it to the sales table from the drop down here. Now if I want to see the value of my measure, I can go to my visual sections which contains all these powerful visuals that Power BI provides, and I can select the card visual. Now all I have to do is click on total sales and it will show that till date my business has made a sales of around 9 million. So by now we have already created a measure, a calculated column, we have written our first tax, transformed the data in Power Query and used the visual card. All that in under 13 minutes. Let's start building our dashboard by creating the filter first. They are called slicers in Power BI. For that, we will click on the slicer visual. Let's resize it and place it on the left side after leaving some space for title. Click on city name and you will see all the city values in the slicer visual. Power BI allows us to format all the visuals to make them more appealing. For that, we can click on the visual and then click on the format button. Here we will remove the slicer header and we will give it a title on our own. Let's change the font color to white and the background color to black. This looks much better than the original slicer. We will continue to make changes to our formatting to make it more appealing. Let's create the other slicers by copying this slicer. This will reduce our formatting effort. You can simply click on the visual, press Ctrl C followed by Ctrl V and then the visual will be copied. Remove city from our new visual and instead select product name after searching it in the field bar. Let's change the title for our new slicer from city to product. We have only 5 products, so let's resize the slicer a little. Also, let's copy our product slicer to create our third slicer, which is employee, and let's move it up a little. We have 5 products. Let's reduce the size of our city slicer as well to show only 5 cities and adjust the product slicer also to match the size. Moving the new slicer slightly up and resizing it to save a little space. Remove the product from field and select employee name instead. Also changing the title to employee. Finally, let's create our 4th slicer year and take its value from the calendar table. At a particular time, the dashboard will show data for only a particular year. So let's go to our format section again. then to selection control and switch on single select option. This will ensure the user can select only 1 year at a time. Finally, let's change our title to year as well. Now all our slices are ready and well formatted. Still, a lot can be done and we will learn those things in detail in our future Power BI tutorials. Let's take the total sales in a card which will automatically change on the basis of values we select in the slicer. If we select Brad and 2019, it will show the total sales facilitated by Brad in year 2019. For that, we have taken the card visual, we will resize it a little and then we will select the total sales measure. We see a sales of 1 million for the selected criteria. Let's format our card visual to make it consistent. We will click on the format option, we will close the category and we will switch on title. Let's rename the title as current year sales as it will show the sales for the selected year. We will change the font color to white and we will change the background to black to make it consistent. Let's resize it a little to fit this space a little better. And now we will write our second measure using a DAX function same period last year. It will be used to calculate the revenue of previous year in our dashboard. For example, if we have selected 2018 in our slicer, we will get the revenue of 2017 using this DAX. Let's write our measure and we are also going to use a calculate function here. Basically, the total sales measure gives us the sales of all the transaction. Here using calculate and same period last year, we are filtering our measure to show only the sales of previous year's transaction based on the value that we have selected in slicer. I understand that this may be slightly challenging to understand at this point, but in our future Power BI course, we will understand all these DAX functions in detail. Now that the measure has been created, let's copy our card to reduce formatting changes. And let's select the new measure sales previous year. So you see, for year 2018, we had a sales of 1 million while it was 819k in 2017. In 2019, the sales has increased to 4 million as compared to 1. But in 2020, it remained the same. I forgot to change the title. Let me change that to PY sales. Now, let's create a chart using which we will show a comparison between current year sales and previous year sales along the 12 months of the year. For example, we will be able to compare our June 2020 revenue with June 2019 in the same graph. For this, we will show the current year revenue in a bar graph and the previous year revenue in a line chart. This chart will give us a month on month comparison of our sales for the entire year along with its comparison for the previous year as well, which is pretty neat. So let's track current year sales in this combo chart in the column values and previous year sales in the line values. We need to show this comparison on a month to month basis, so we will select month name from the calendar table. Our graph is ready, but if you notice, the ordering of months is incorrect. We can go to our data view to correct this ordering. We can click on the calendar table and then we can click on month name, after which we will have to click on sort by column and we will select month. Post this change, we should see the correct ordering in our graph. But for that, we will have to remove the month name and we will have to add it again. You see, now we have the correct ordering. Let's quickly format this combo chart as well to make it consistent with our other graphs. We will go to our x-axis and we will switch off our title. Then we will go to our y-axis and we will switch off its title. Then we will change the position of the legend to top center. And we will change the color of our bars to yellow from blue. Let's change our title text to CY sales and PY sales. We will change the alignment to center and we will change the font color to white and background to black to make it consistent. Let's increase the font size a little more and our graph is ready. We can see the month on month comparison. We can see how we did for a particular month when compared to the previous year or in comparison to the previous month. Now let's see the city-wise distribution of sales using a map visual in Power BI. So we will click on the map visual and we will resize it a little. On the search bar, we will look for city name and we will add it to our location. Then we will search for our measure total sales and we will add it to size. Let's format our map to make it consistent. We will change its title and we will copy the formatting from our existing visual. Every visual in Power BI has a number of formatting options, but for this video we are going to keep it simple and clean. And we can see the revenue of different cities in this map chart. Let's resize our map to make it a little more clean. Perfect. This looks good now. Now let's create a product wise revenue bifurcation using a donut chart. We will also use a custom visual for it which is not available directly. But before that, let's make it with a standard visual. We will click on the donut chart. We will click on total sales and it will get added to values. And in search, now we will look for product name. So our donut chart is ready. Let's format it to clean it a little more. We will change the legends to top center. Then we will go to detailed labels. We will only show the percentage contribution of each product to the sales. We will close the title of the legend and then we will copy the formatting from an existing visual. We will have to close the title of the legend again. Now this looks good, but we can actually do the same thing using custom visuals as well, which can be a little more appealing. So we will use one such visual for this dashboard. For that, we will click on these three dots and from there we will click Get More Visuals Now. For this, you will have to sign on to Power BI and for that you need an organizational account or you can pay $10 a month to buy your Power BI service license. I'm going to show you the custom visual for this video, but for now you can keep working with the standard donut chart we just created. So once I'm logged in, I get this window and I can search donut charts here. I will get a bunch of options. Make sure we select only those visuals that are approved by Power BI. I will get a pop-up message that the visual has been imported successfully. Now all I need to do is click on my existing donut chart and then click on the new imported visual, and bam, it's done. This custom visual does look more attractive than our previous visual. It shows the same exact information, but it does look a little more attractive. Let's create our final graph where we would show the employee-wise sales using a clustered bar chart. We will click on total sales and it will get added to the values. Let's resize this chart a little bit and then we will search for employee name and we will click on it. It will come in the shared axis. Now we will format it using an existing graph and then we will change its title to employee wise sales. This looks pretty clean. We forgot to change the title for donut chart. Let's change it to product wise sales. We have created all this in well under 30 minutes and that too from scratch. Let's give our dashboard a title, and for that we will have to take a line first. We will rotate the line by 90 degrees and then we will resize this visual. Also, we will change the width of the line from 3 to 1. Now we can drag it to the top and we can expand it to cover the entire portion of the dashboard. Let's change the color of this line to black. Perfect. Now Power BI allows us to write text using text boxes. I will write sales dashboard here. I will change the font to Calibri. I will increase the size to 36 and let's make it bold. Let's align it to center also. We will expand this and change its color to yellow to keep it consistent with the dashboard. We will remove the background of text box and we will move it to center top. We can change the size or position of any visual by going to general and changing it from there. Let me resize the text box and bam, our dashboard is close to its completion. We can also add a logo on the extreme top left which makes it look a little more professional. For that, I will just import a simple image for demonstration. I will resize it and I will align it to the top left, and now I can play around with my slicers and see my dashboard values changing immediately on the basis of it. I forgot to change my legends for CY and PY sales visual, though I will not find this option in the legend section. See, the option is not here. We will instead have to change the name of measures that we dropped on this visual. So we are going to change total sales to CY sales and sales previous year to PY sales, and the legends have been corrected. Now this is a well framed but basic dashboards which lacks a few things. For example, if I select the year 2017, I get the previous year value as blank because we did not start our business in 2016. But this may look confusing to the users. We can play around with this dashboard a little bit to explore all the values and to gain meaningful business insights. If we make a mistake in Power BI, we can undo it by this sign on the top. We can increase the area of our dashboard by minimizing these pane on the right hand side. So now our dashboard is ready. It looks pretty clean and is ready to be sent to its user who can actually gain meaningful information from it. But for that, we have to publish the dashboard to Power BI service. We are not going to do that in this video, but in less than 30 minutes, you have already learned how to create this beautiful dashboard. In this video, we learned how to import data into Power BI. We saw how we can transform data using Power Query. We created relationships between tables in model view. We created a calculated column. We created a couple of measures. We wrote some DAX functions. We used both standard and custom visuals. And we learned how to format them. Overall, we created this beautiful interactive dashboard. If you want to become a proficient Power BI developer, you should know how to use visuals, how to transform data using Power Query, which uses M language behind the scenes, DAX. I would say that they are at the core of Power BI. You cannot write good measures if you do not know how to use DAX. Using both standard and custom visuals and concepts like bookmarks, drill down, drill through, and publishing and distributing reports using Power BI service. You should know all this if you want to become a proficient Power BI developer. Power BI is such a powerful tool and there is so much that can be done with it. I'm pretty excited to share my knowledge with all of you guys and learn along the way. If you have any questions regarding this video, please drop in a comment and I will be happy to help. A quick question. Can we create this dashboard in Excel as well? We will find out the answer in a future video soon. Thanks a lot guys for watching this video and I will see you in the next one.